Scorpio, something life-changing is unfolding this very week, a piece of surprising good news that will shift everything and bring tears of joy. If you've been silently praying for a breakthrough, waiting for a sign, or hoping for a miracle in the midst of your private battles, this message has found you for a reason. Your presence here is not an accident. The alignment of this moment, the divine synchronicity that brought your soul to this exact place in time, is a sacred confirmation. From October 15th to 20th, a powerful energetic window opens for you, a portal through which what once seemed impossible is now quietly making its way into your reality. Scorpio, I know how long you've been holding on. You are the silent warrior of the zodiac, carrying depth and complexity that often goes unseen. You've endured storms in silence, transformed pain into wisdom, and held on to hope even when your heart felt exhausted. But the message I bring today is this: the season of waiting is over. The divine timing you've been prepared for is here. In the stillness of prayer, in the whispers of your soul, you've been calling out for peace, for clarity, for love that heals, for provision that doesn't run dry. Heaven has heard you. The universe has been aligning people, resources, opportunities, and messages to come to your aid in a way that only divine orchestration could make possible. This week, a message will arrive. A door will open. A person will return. A call, an email, a moment of coincidence that is far from random. It will carry the very answer your soul has longed for. But this is not just about external change. This is about who you are becoming. The tears you will shed are not just for what arrives, but for the realization that you were never forgotten. That every delay was divine protection. That what is being returned to you now, love, joy, provision, clarity, is not just compensation. It is restoration. You are being invited into a higher chapter, one where your emotions are validated, your heart is safe to open, and your gifts are no longer hidden but honored. You don't need to chase anything. It is already written, already sent, already on its way. All you need to do now is receive. Scorpio, take a breath with me. Place your hand over your heart. Let the resistance soften, let the fear fall away. What if this is the week that confirms everything you felt deep down, that breakthrough was always coming, just not in the way you expected? Your faith is being honored. Your loyalty to the process is being rewarded. The path ahead will not only feel lighter, but more aligned than ever before. This is more than a forecast. It's a divine appointment. If this message resonates with you, don't keep it to yourself. Write it into the atmosphere. Confirm your alignment by commenting below: I receive this breakthrough. I welcome what's mine. Let me also take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every share, every subscription is not just support, it is sacred. It allows messages like this to find the hearts that need it most. Thank you for being part of this journey, for choosing to believe in timing, in transformation, in light breaking through the shadows. And Scorpio, trust me, you will want to stay with me until the very last second of this message, because what's coming next will shake your soul in the most beautiful way. You are standing at the edge of a divine turning point. Let's walk through it together. The celestial alignments of this week are not just markers on a cosmic calendar, they are mirrors reflecting the inner journey you've been walking for months, perhaps even years. When the Sun in Libra forms a harmonious trine with Saturn in Pisces on October 15th and 16th, a doorway opens. It is the kind of alignment that brings divine timing into earthly form, offering you a quiet but unshakable sense of structure in the midst of emotional tides. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, hesitant, or caught in indecision, this is the week where the scales tip toward clarity. Saturn, the ancient keeper of time and responsibility, whispers gently, "You are ready now." And Libra, ruled by Venus, adds grace to the weight of that readiness, reminding you that stability doesn't have to be hard, it can also be beautiful. This cosmic synergy doesn't demand dramatic moves. Instead, it creates space still, sacred space where your soul can recognize its own truth without noise, without urgency. In this space, choices that once felt impossible begin to settle into place. The decision you've been postponing, the boundary you've been afraid to draw, the truth you've been quietly avoiding, all of it becomes illuminated not with pressure, but with purpose. Then comes October 17th, and with it, the waning moon in Sagittarius. This lunar moment is not about endings in the traditional sense, it's about releasing what no longer fits within the expansion your spirit is craving. Sagittarius energy wants freedom, truth, and meaning, but a waning moon softens the fire into reflection. What illusions are you ready to let go of? What words have been held back in your throat, waiting for the right moment to be released? You may find yourself compelled to speak a truth that has lived silently inside you for too long. And in doing so, you may realize that the fear you felt was never rooted in truth, only in the unknown. When light touches shadow, clarity emerges. The heart of this week's transformation reaches its peak on October 18th, when Venus, planet of love and value, meets Pluto, the alchemist of the zodiac, in a powerful conjunction. This is no ordinary contact. It's a soul-level recalibration. Venus asks, "What do I truly value now?" And Pluto answers by excavating the emotional debris we've buried for protection. This alignment holds the potential to restore parts of you that were lost to grief, trauma, or quiet neglect. It's a resurrection of what was true for you all along, only now it returns stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your future. If something or someone returns to your life this week, don't judge it too quickly. Look deeper. Ask yourself, has this changed? Have I changed? This is not about recycling the past. This is about revisiting it with eyes that have seen storms, and a heart that has endured them. Sometimes what we thought was broken was only being remade. The colors this week, wine red, gold, and deep violet, are not just lucky hues, but energetic tools. Red invites grounding and vitality. Gold awakens confidence and divine worth. Violet restores spiritual clarity. Wear them with intention. Surround yourself with them. Let them speak on behalf of your soul when words fall short. And the numbers 8 and 11. They're more than symbols. 8 is the number of karma, infinite return, and inner strength. 11 is the master number of spiritual awakening, calling you to higher truth. If you see these numbers in your daily path, pause. Acknowledge them. They are signs that you are exactly where you need to be, and that something greater is already in motion on your behalf. Scorpio, this is not just an astrological forecast, this is a spiritual alignment with the story you've been writing silently in your heart. This week, that story begins a new chapter, one shaped not by fear, but by faith in your own becoming. Let this energy guide you gently into action, anchored in grace, clarity, and quiet power. There is a sacred rhythm that flows through every tarot spread, and this week, Scorpio, that rhythm beats like a steady drum calling you back to your divine center. As you step through the cosmic gateway opened by the astrological alignments, the cards now lay before you like living archetypes, not just symbols on paper, but reflections of the inner becoming that is quietly unfolding within your soul. They do not predict your future as a fixed destination. Rather, they illuminate the energetic invitations being extended to you now, and it's up to you to say yes. The Sun, paired with the Emperor, arrives first not as mere optimism or surface-level confidence, but as the return of a light that was always yours. After seasons spent navigating uncertainty, it is your own essence rising from the shadows with renewed clarity. The Sun does not ask you to be anything other than fully yourself, in your joy, your power, your truth. The Emperor, in turn, speaks of mastery, not control over others, but alignment within. When these two cards meet, they tell a powerful story. You are no longer seeking external validation. You are becoming the architect of your own light. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. Then comes the Ace of Pentacles, a symbol so rich with promise that it almost vibrates with potential. This is more than just money or material gain, it is tangible opportunity arriving from the unseen, a seed dropped into your hand by divine timing. An email. A message. A door opening. You may feel it as a surge of inspiration, a job offer, a collaboration, or an unexpected solution. What matters is that it comes with substance. This card tells you, you are ready to receive what you once only hoped for. Your alignment has matured, and now the physical world is responding. The Two of Cups emerges next with quiet intimacy. Its message is soft but deep. There is someone energetically tethered to you at this very moment. Whether it's a reconciliation or a new soul contract forming, this connection is not casual. It is designed to awaken your heart, not to distract it. The Two of Cups is not about fantasy or projection, it's about recognition, soul recognizing soul. If this card resonates with you, pay attention to who reaches out, who enters, or even who reappears. Your openness to love, romantic, platonic, or spiritual, is being called to the surface now. Then, just when you thought it couldn't get more potent, the wheel of fortune turns. Not slowly, but decisively. The presence of this card alongside the Nine of Cups is rare and meaningful. The wheel reminds you that life is not static. The Nine of Cups assures you that this shift is bringing fulfillment not by chance, but by alignment. The wishes you whispered in solitude, the prayers you tucked into your journal pages, the intentions you released under moonlight, they are not lost. They have been gathering energy, and now they're circling back to you in waves. What you planted in faith is preparing to bloom. And so, Scorpio, I ask you gently but clearly, are you ready to receive? Not just the outcomes, but the emotional space required to hold them. This is not the time to shrink back into old stories of doubt or delay. This is the moment to lean forward and say yes, not just with your words, but with your energy. Comment below, I open my heart to receive the miracle. Speak it aloud if you can. Declare it into the fabric of your day. That affirmation is more than a phrase, it's a vibrational agreement with what the universe has already prepared for you. When you say yes inwardly, outward life rushes to meet you in kind. This is how energy works. This is how prayers become presence. And this, Scorpio, is how your chapter turns. Not because someone granted it, but because you finally remembered the light you carry was never out. It was simply waiting to be welcomed home. When your energetic field begins to rise in frequency, Scorpio, the universe responds not with hesitation, but with immediacy. And this week, your frequency is pulsing at a rare and powerful level, not because you pushed or forced your way into alignment, but because your spirit, worn yet resilient, has finally softened into readiness. The blending of earth and water elements in your field right now represents more than just astrological symbolism. Earth gives form. Water gives flow. Together, they stabilize your emotions and shape your desires into something magnetic. That magnetism, which you may feel as a subtle tingling in the heart or chest, is your body's way of alerting you to energetic convergence, a miracle lining up just beyond your physical senses. Law of attraction doesn't operate on wishful thinking alone. It responds to emotional truth. And your truth this week is that you are no longer resisting goodness. You're no longer questioning whether you're deserving of joy, peace, or abundance. You're beginning to remember that worthiness is not something you earn, it's something you awaken. That shift in belief, though quiet, is monumental. It tells the universe, I am ready, and suddenly, what felt far away starts to move toward you with purpose. The invitation now is to partner with that movement, not through striving, but through openness. Breath becomes your bridge. When you inhale deeply and imagine golden light filling your chest, you aren't just relaxing, you are programming your energy to hold more light, more clarity, more love. When you exhale slowly and imagine letting go of tension, you're releasing energetic clutter that blocks receiving. These small, sacred acts are more than rituals, they are alignment in motion. In numerology, the number 8 is a loop, continuous, eternal, unbroken. It carries the essence of karmic return, abundance, and energetic maturity. Everything you've sown through effort, integrity, and compassion is now circling back. Not as a reward, but as a reflection. The number 11, by contrast, is a portal. A mirror. A message. Often called the messenger code, it signals that you're at a threshold between fear and trust, scarcity and abundance, self-doubt and divine remembrance. If you've been seeing 1111, 808, or even 2222, know this, these aren't coincidences. They are subtle confirmations that you're aligned with the sacred rhythm of manifestation. But frequency alone isn't enough, it must be anchored through your conscious choice. This is where the law of alignment becomes even more powerful than the law of attraction. Alignment asks you not just to want good things, but to live like someone who believes they are already on the way. To make decisions not from fear, but from faith. To speak, walk, breathe, and act like someone who knows the outcome is already decided in your favor. And so, Scorpio, in this moment of high energetic momentum, I invite you to declare with me, I am worthy of the very best. Not someday. Not when I've proven myself. Not if others approve. Now. Right here. As I am. These words, when said with intention, shift the entire frequency of your field. They signal to the universe that the vessel is open, the resistance is cleared, and the miracle can land. You are not chasing blessings, you are becoming the version of yourself who recognizes them when they arrive. So if you've been feeling the pull to pause, to reflect, to breathe deeper, to notice the signs, honor it. You are in sync. And in this space of resonance, nothing is impossible. Not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped doubting that you were always the match for what you've been praying for. There are moments in your journey, dear Scorpio, when everything feels like it's collapsing inward, when the silence becomes too loud, the weight too heavy, and hope seems like a fading echo. You might have carried so much for so long that numbness begins to replace prayer, and even tears seem to dry before they reach the surface. But what if I told you that your soul has never stopped being seen? That in the very depth of that silence, the divine was preparing the most radiant light to pierce through your darkest night? Astrology teaches us that the Scorpio sign is the archetype of death and rebirth, not in the physical sense, but in the soul's evolution. You are no stranger to shedding skin, to letting go of the old, even when it rips through you like fire. And this week, that cycle turns again, but this time, into restoration. The trials you've endured were not sent to break you, but to awaken you. Energetically, the stars whisper of a sacred alignment, a divine orchestration of moments, people, and inner shifts that are already reshaping your reality, whether you see it yet or not. This is a time of spiritual homecoming, where your heart is gently being led back to a place it has always belonged, peace. Just as the moon does not rush her phases, neither should you rush your healing. The Holy Scripture in Jeremiah 29 verse 11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This is not simply a verse, it is a lifeline. It is the blueprint of your next chapter. It is the echo of heaven saying, "I'm not finished with you yet." So if lately you've felt like you were walking through the valley of shadows, whether it's the grief of a past love, the anxiety of an uncertain future, or the invisible weight of unspoken emotions, I invite you to pause and breathe. Not just with your lungs, but with your soul. Because in these very pauses, the miraculous happens. You might see a repeating number, hear a lyric in a song that grips your heart, or even feel the warmth of someone's unexpected kindness. Those are not coincidences. They are divine breadcrumbs. God's way of saying, "Keep going. I'm here." Scorpio, you are not broken, you are breaking open. And from that opening, something holy is rising. Something soft, yet unshakable. Something you lost that's now returning, your faith. Not blind faith, but faith shaped by fire. And that faith is fertile ground. This is where healing begins, not because everything is fixed, but because you decide to believe again, to trust again, even if it's just one breath at a time. Each morning this week, try whispering this simple prayer, "Lead me, Lord, to where I belong. I may not know the way, but I trust you do." Let that be your anchor. Let that be your reset. And don't worry if you don't feel instantly changed. Healing is not loud. Sometimes, it's as quiet as finally sleeping through the night. As subtle as smiling without forcing it. As profound as realizing you've made it another day, and somehow, the world feels less heavy. What you are stepping into, Scorpio, is not just a new season, it's a divine reordering. A holy recalibration of your path, relationships, finances, even your inner dialogue. And you won't have to force any of it. Because grace doesn't push, it invites. And today, grace is inviting you to trust that your life is not a mistake. That the pain did not win. That you were chosen for this resurrection. So as you continue watching this video, remember this, your journey is sacred. And if this message stirred something in your heart, it wasn't random, it was for you. Can you feel the shift? Can you sense that maybe, just maybe, everything is about to change? And if it does, Will you be ready to receive it? Will you allow yourself to believe again? If so, comment below, "I am ready for my divine rebirth." Because you are. You've always been. There is a sacred rhythm moving beneath the surface of your life right now, Scorpio. You may not always see it with your eyes, but you can feel it, like the hush before the miracle, like the silence before a breakthrough. As we move into this energetically potent window from October 15th to 20th, something majestic is unfolding, not through noise or drama, but through divine orchestration so precise that it almost feels accidental. But nothing is accidental anymore, not the opportunity that seems too good to be true, not the voice from the past that suddenly reappears with an open heart, not even the dream that lingers in your spirit hours after you wake. This is not coincidence. This is calling. This is confirmation. And this is your moment. For a sign as deep and intuitive as Scorpio, your emotional world often becomes your map, your compass, your battlefield and your sanctuary. You have cried tears no one saw, wrestled with shadows no one understood, and yet here you are, still standing, still loving, still hoping. So why is it now, during this specific portal of time, that so many seemingly disconnected threads are weaving together? Because the divine door has opened. And it didn't just swing open on its own. You knocked, you waited, you grew. You forgave. You hoped when it felt ridiculous. You whispered prayers in the dark. And now the answer is whispering back. The financial offer coming may leave you speechless, not only because it exceeds your expectations, but because it feels tailored to your soul's preparation. You've paid the price in emotional currency, patience, endurance, surrender. The return is not just monetary. It's a recognition of your inner worth finally meeting its outer mirror. And that person, yes, the one you thought was gone for good, may carry a truth that heals both of you. Not every return is meant for reunion, but every return carries revelation. Be brave enough to hear it without the armor of the past. Then there's the dream, the one so vivid you'll swear it came from somewhere beyond this world. Write it down. It carries a spiritual cipher meant just for you. One sentence may shift your entire perception. One symbol may unlock an idea that changes the course of your next year. Do not ignore it. And perhaps the most profound of all, something will happen quiet, simple, and yet unmistakably divine, that confirms God heard every word you thought no one listened to. That moment will bring tears, but not of pain, of release, of gratitude, of remembering who you really are. But here's where your test begins. Will you let it in? Or will you doubt yourself again at the doorway of answered prayer? This is where so many get stuck, in the threshold of blessing, still haunted by the echo of rejection, failure, or unworthiness. But Scorpio, you are not who you used to be. And the past no longer has the power to block what has already been written in the stars. So I ask you now, not as a fortune teller, but as a guide who sees your light through every shadow, are you ready to receive without fear? Can you soften long enough to let love come in, even if it looks different than what you expected? Can you step into the miracle without needing to control every detail of how it arrives? Write this below and make it your declaration: I am worthy. I welcome my miracle. This is my moment. Then pause. And feel it. Feel how the energy inside you shifts. How your breath slows. How your heart feels just a little more open. That's not just affirmation, that's alignment. That's the vibration of faith activating your next chapter. That's when the magic begins. Scorpio, this is not the end. This is your divine beginning. If the tears are falling now, let them. But let them fall for the right reason, for the miracle that just walked into your timeline. For the door that once felt sealed now creaking open with a golden light behind it. You are not alone, and you were never forgotten. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. You are not breaking apart, you are breaking free. Something incredibly sacred is unfolding behind the scenes, and it's all aligning with your name on it. That surprising good news? It's no longer a rumor. It's arriving in physical form. And when it lands, it won't just touch your bank account, it will touch your soul. You've journeyed through so many nights when no one saw your quiet battles, your silent prayers, your whispered, "God, help me." But heaven heard you. Your ancestors heard you. The angels never stopped surrounding you. And now, you're stepping into a timeline where every denied blessing returns with interest. Can you feel that? That shift in the atmosphere? That pause before the divine wind carries something massive into your life? Now I ask you, what will you do when the miracle knocks? Will you answer? Will you make room for joy, even if grief once occupied the space? Will you celebrate, even if you don't fully understand yet how it all worked out for your good? This is your moment to step forward, not with fear, but with full faith. Say it with me now, right here, right now. I am ready. I receive. I trust God's timing. I believe the universe is delivering exactly what I prayed for. Your breakthrough is not a dream, it's a response to your soul's endurance. If this message touched your heart, comment below, "I claim my joyful destiny" love letter, and tell us, what do you feel in your spirit is about to change? Thank you for sharing this sacred moment with me. If you felt seen, heard, and spiritually aligned through this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to Miracle of the Sign, your home for divine guidance, energy healing, astrology, tarot wisdom, and daily doses of God's Word for the busy soul. Your miracle is already underway. And Scorpio, you deserve every second of it.